Hello, welcome to my channel, KC Sledge Storyteller. Carrie Chug here to talk about the wonderful world of storytelling and to open up discussion about how we can tell the best stories we possibly can. Time to mention that the time has come. Sledge number 1 is now out on the market. The link to the order page is down below. Please click down there should you feel so inclined to order a copy. Anyway, last week's video was about comic book misconceptions, and today it's about storytelling devices. One of my favorite all-time story devices, the flashback. To give the obligatory definition, a flashback is when the story reverts to an event in the past, and it serves various purposes. Most notably, it establishes the build-up to key aspects of the fictive present, and it picks up from a memory trigger to give emotional depth. Now, again, it's one of my favorite tools, yet I count the 8 scripts that I have prepared thus far for Sledge. Only 2 of them have included flashbacks, so they're effective, just not to be overused and not to just be a go-to for any time you think you need to use it just to add depth. If you're not careful, it can make it schmaltzy. But you have to determine if it's the best thing that will help the reader understand the previous event. Use of flashback versus exposition is much the same comparison as what I covered in a previous video, showing versus telling. But let me touch upon an old 20th century classic, Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. Reading the novel, you have George and Lenny escaping the chase from their previous job before they find a new one. But shortly after that point, George has to explain to the lead laborer why they were on the run, and we then get his exposition on Lenny's causing trouble when he is drawn to a young woman's dress because he likes soft things, and his not letting go leads to the presumption that Lenny's intentions were violent. But now, of course, I've read Mice and Men, and I have watched the movie versions, the 1939 version with Burgess Meredith and Lon Chaney Jr., 1981's with Robert Blake and Randy Quinn, and 1992's with Gary Sinise and John Malkovich. And in spite of the movie's advantage of being a visual medium, all 3 of those movies carry out the same reveal through this same type of exposition. So both Steinbeck and the various filmmakers felt that flashback would have convoluted the flow of the plot. So we got to be judicious in how we use flashbacks. Furthermore, when the setting is justified, you need a good segue. First, there's the aforementioned memory trigger. You can have something simple as somebody's drink that tips over on the table, or a character sees an item similar to a significant previous possession, or a stranger who looks a lot like someone special from the past. Sky's the limit. You can come up with all kinds of memory triggers. In the fantasy realm, you have the pensieve. It's some form of device that a character can use to look into the past, or simply have an aforementioned scenario mentioned in Of Mice and Men, only it works in the setup you have to create to use the flashback, and you just have to weigh in on whether or not it will enrich the plot. But another key thing to making a flashback work is to make it the cause of important things going on in the present, and making sure that the audience knows that those same important things are the effect. Otherwise, your audience won't feel like the story is getting anywhere. And you got to be careful that what's going on in the present is at the forefront. You don't want the flashback to dominate the strength of the story. Finally, make sure you build up to the flashback. Now, admit it, you don't like to experience stories where a flashback serves as an out-of-nowhere shock. Without build-up, things are not cohesive. But to illustrate a flashback that makes these principles work, I want to hit upon another John Wayne film, beloved John Wayne film, like I did in the video about getting story ideas. But this time it's The Quiet Man. So to give you a general idea, the story goes where John Wayne's character, Sean Thornton, has come into Ireland where he has roots. And he's in need of a clean slate in life. He meets Mary Kate, played by Maureen O'Hara, whom he marries and struggles to reconcile with her, and also his brother-in-law and everyone else around him. But the build-up to the flashback is the feeling throughout the movie that Sean is trying to get away from something in his past, and make severe efforts to avoid violence. Yeah, that with a John Wayne character. The segue is when his brother-in-law lays him out with a massive punch that triggers a memory of his last match as a professional boxer, when his big knockout blow ends up killing his opponent, causing severe trauma to him, but the mental trauma. But come back to the present for the effect. After Sean has just been knocked down, he picks himself up and walks away with his wife in tow. All part of the creative genius of director John Ford. But that's the basic building blocks of a flashback. But even if you hold strictly to those principles, you can find other ways to, other things to tack onto a flashback to give it a different spin. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to reflect on that fictional world's truth. It could be a lie. You can show different sides to the same event. And one example I like a lot is in Frank Miller's Batman Year One. After Batman already had become a thorn in the side of corrupt police lieutenant Arnold Flass, we get a scene of where Flass is testifying of what happened when Batman interfered with his business. While we see the truth unfold visually with Batman jumping in on a drug deal, Flass he was participating in that drug deal, and while his narrative captions speak of him breaking up the drug deal when Batman comes in, and all the he gives then outrageous claims of Batman's superhuman ability to absorb bullets and shoot magical blades from his hands. So here the visuals demonstrate what Batman's true abilities are, and Flash's words serve as character reveal of his desperation to keep out of legal trouble. But overall, this flashback has a potential as a great storytelling tool. It's something that you need to be judicious about, again, when it's the right thing to use, and it warrants a lot of experimentation to give it a substance to the story. That was just one example of how you can make it engaging. But that's my insight into flashbacks. If you like this video, please click like. If you like this channel, please subscribe and share this channel with a friend. I hope we can get some discussion going. Agree, disagree, something I didn't mention, please comment below. And I like that we're starting to hear favorable news about the health climate out there in our world. We just need to be patient and hope that this gradual return to normalcy works out. And let us remain mindful of our habits, wash our hands, avoid touching our faces, keeping our distance, and wearing masks in public, and stay home if you're sick. But that's our video for this week, and until next week, bye-bye.